Welcome to Tea Time with Tati. I'm your host, Tatiana Rocio. God bless you guys. So, I want to talk about on today's episode how we deal with life when we had just hit a breaking point. Have you guys ever been at that point in your life where you have just had enough, where you are just like, I can't do this, this is too much? What do you do when you're in that situation? Well, like many of you guys know, because we've talked about this over and over, I just had my fourth brain surgery. Today is 10 days ago now. And I hit that point myself. I am a believer. I love God. I absolutely am a positive person. But what happens when you hit a point in your life where you're just like, I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. How do you get out of that? Well, I want to kind of talk to you guys a little bit of what happened with my situation so that we can talk, right? And, we all go through it. And I want you guys to see my perspective and what I did. And hopefully that when you guys are going through this situation or something similar to it, you guys can get to a point where you're like, okay, let me try that and see if this is something that could help you maybe in one of the darkest times of your life. Okay, so as many of you guys know, I've had 13 brain aneurysms. This is now my fourth brain surgery where I've had 9 of them fixed. I had 13. What does that mean? I still have 4 left. 2 in my brain, 2 in my throat. And I guess I got to a point where I was like, this is too much. I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to keep fighting this battle. I hit a point where I was like, God, please take me home. Now, what all happened in order for me to get to that point? Because I'm a pretty positive person. I love to pray. I am a prayer warrior. I fast. I read the Bible. I love to hang out in church with people who love to do Bible studies, people who love God. I mean, I try to really keep myself in a positive aspect because I love God that much. But what happened to me in order to get to that point? All right, let's talk. So after brain surgery, I woke up, and this one, because they're putting a stent in my head, I did not have to get my head cut open, which is great. Because whenever they put in clippings, that's where they cut my head open, or in order to do that. But this one, I was getting a stent, so they go in through your groin into your brain. It's still a pretty painful procedure. There's still a lot of risks that come with it. Healing is still really hard. So in this one, you wake up and you're really not allowed to do much. I was losing a lot of fluid, more than what I had coming in, right? So I was really dizzy. I felt really kind of disoriented, obviously being under anesthesia. Plus, they give me a medication in order for my brain not to swell up. I mean, there was a lot going on. I woke up. I don't know if you guys can see this, but the bruise was literally now, it's healing, but the bruise was this big over here. I had 8 needle marks from where they tried to go in. I had blood in this, and on this hand, I had 3 needle marks. They went in here, they went in here. There was also blood there. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So that's what you wake up to, right? A bunch of blood and a bunch of everything, feeling disoriented, feeling dizzy, feeling everything. And I was like, all right, at this point, I'm still pretty happy. Then the headache kicks in once the anesthesia starts to kind of, wear down and the pain is kicking in, where they went in through my groin, that starts to hurt and I'm dizzy as could be. And then all of a sudden, my lip starts twitching and I start having a panic attack in the room. And I'm like, Mom, because she's there with me. I was like, what's happening to me? Everything starts spinning. They have to start giving me medication, give me IV. She's trying to, calm me down and help me settle down with my breathing. And I'm just freaking out in the room, right? So they finally got it under control. I'm okay at this point now. I'm like, okay, fine. So now I try to go to sleep, get some rest. Well, that was nowhere near as easy. I literally did not sleep in the ICU for the first night. Because every time that I would fall asleep, my breathing would be funny. And I would be woken up because of my breathing. The room would start to spin. I would feel like my vision would start to shake. So I was not able to sleep at all. And then on one of the episodes where the doctor came in, I was trying to focus on her and my vision was shaking and I was seeing everything shaking. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was scared. And they said that this is something that I just have to allow all this medication to go out of my system. I was like, okay. I was scared to go home. I was scared because I'm like, is this going to continue happening to me? Is it something that will go away? And getting dizzy is scary because you have no control. You don't know if you're going to pass out. You don't know. You can't control anything. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll go home, and I was able to finally sleep when, I got home. When I woke up in the morning, the same thing happened where I got so dizzy. Everything turns white. I can't hear anything. I feel like I'm about to pass out. I'm laying down. I'm scared because I'm in the room by myself and I can't get to call anybody to come help me. And I was very scared. Thank God I didn't pass out. I ended up being okay. It just took a little bit, but I was okay. It happened to me again later on, 2 days later, and it was just really hard because these episodes of dizziness everything would, like, I wouldn't be able to hear and everything would turn white. And it was just like something that would go over my head. And I couldn't control, I couldn't talk. So, it's very scary. And I just got to a point, I was like thinking, okay, I have 4 brain aneurysms left. Does this mean I'm going to have to get another surgery? God, I'm going to have to go through this again. And I got so in my own thoughts that I was like, can you just take me home? I don't want to keep fighting. I haven't even hit 40. And some of the stuff that I have gone through have been ridiculously hard, where it's just like, wow. And I always hear your story is different. You're really young to be going through all of this. And it's just like, I wouldn't wish this on anybody at any age. So what do you do in order to get out of this? Now, it's hard because even if you want to talk to somebody, it's really hard because there's very few people who understand when you're going through such a hard chapter in your life. And most everybody's going to say, you are strong, you got this, believe in God, which, yeah, I can do all of that. But what happens when you hit a breaking point? What happens when you get to a point where you're just like, I can't. I don't have it in me anymore. That I'm human and now I'm feeling like this is overwhelmingly hard. Okay. So I'll tell you what I did, and maybe this will help you while you're going through it so that you can fight the battle. You can say, I'm not giving up no matter what. And I'm sharing my story because this is what I went through, right? And this is how I can help. You guys can relate the feeling. Maybe not the story exactly, right? There's not very many people who have had to go through, I understand, the brain aneurysms and the surgery, but the feeling behind it, of feeling hopeless, of feeling like it's too much, of feeling it's overbearing. We've all faced that at some point in our life. So what do we do? All right. So now I'm going to say, if you need therapy, that's great, do it, right? For me, for instance, I go to therapy for medical trauma. I have to talk about these things. I have to let them out. And I don't always, my family is amazing. My friends are amazing. They will listen. but I don't feel like they understand me in the aspect of what this is really like, because they're used to seeing me strong. They're used to seeing me overcome these things, right? And they encourage me in ways that are wonderful, are life-filling, of course, but I need to find some new remedies. So if that's something, that you want to seek, I encourage you to do that. All right, but let's talk what we do in the spiritual aspect. Sometimes it's good for you to go to the mountain and spend time with God one-on-one. Jesus did that every day. He spent time with God, praying, talking to him, worshiping, because there's something that happens within your spirit that moves. All right, so here is something that maybe could help you. I sometimes, right, we hold in all these feelings, all these emotions, all these thoughts within ourselves, but how do we let them out? So I love to put on music, worship music, that I know is going to make me cry, that I'm just sitting there, I have my eyes closed, and I'm just going to cry like a baby, because that's what I need. I need to release these things to God and say, God, please, you are almighty. You are Abba. You are the one that can take all of these burdens and help me walk through it. And that's what he wants to do. So I sit down and I listen to worship. I put my headphones in and I close my eyes and I sit down in a spot all by myself, and I go into the mountain and I just listen to worship music to help me go through it, to help me fight, in order for me to just start opening up my spirit, start opening up my mind, right? And then when you're in a worship and you're crying, you are more vulnerable to talk. You're able to open up your emotions and just really talk to God and be intimate and let him know, God, this is how I feel. This is what's hurting me. This is, God, the things that I need help with. Help me, please. He hears you. He catches every single tear and he holds it. And he knows your heart. He knows you better than you know yourself, and he will do what he needs to do. Spend that time and just do that. I read the book of James. That's a great book if you guys need great books to read. Psalms 23 is an amazing book to read as well, because it's something, if you feel like you're walking through the shadows of death, fear no evil, feel no death, fear no none of that. Sometimes it's just overwhelming. So those are some books in the Bible, that could really help you. Another great thing, if you're at a point that you also don't want to maybe go to church because you're not really social right now, find also pray about it, but find a pastor or find a group, that does Bible studies and praise, that can help you in the spiritual aspect. So I was doing that. I found a great group of friends on TikTok. We do our Bible studies. We pray together. We vent and talk, and we talk about how hard our spiritual battles are, and we uplift one another. Find that, because who you're around, what you're letting in also is going to determine. So if you're watching things that are going to take you the opposite way of where you need to go, make sure that you're watching things, that you're around people who are positive, that you are listening to music that is Christian, that is positive, that's going to fulfill you with life. You want to do the things that are going to put back where you feel just overbearingly too much. Another way is find a creative outlet, find a hobby, something that you love to do. So for example, I prayed and I talked to God, and I was like, God, I need to do something different. I need to feel alive. I need to release all of this in a really happy way. And guess what? I had a great friend named Tita who gave a recommendation to her friend named Eddie. And there is a fashion show, a Milwaukee fashion show called Walk It Out Fashion and Hair Show. And he reached out to me and he asked me if I wanted to participate this year in the hair part, you know? And I was like, you know what? I haven't done a fashion show in years. I would love to do that. So I accepted that. And I was like, okay, this is fun. I'm happy because guess what? I love to create. One of the great things, God really did make me an amazing artist. There is a lot of therapy I get through art. I love to create, whether it is hair, makeup, fashion, jewelry. You know, I love to make little cute bracelets like this. I know that's a little hard to say, but you know, just I find ways and I'm constantly doing things that just put me in a good mood. There's always something that I'm learning. I've even made I said that, sorry, keychains, and I'm learning how to do pen, or I made those DIY pens. I mean, whatever way that I could be creative, I love to do. So this was a great opportunity because not only am I creating, but I'm going to be in an atmosphere again full of life and creativity, and I'm just really excited. So be tuned for that because that's going to happen in July, and we're going to have a model casting call. So if you're in the Milwaukee area, I mean, come on to that runway audition, and let's do something fun. I mean, this is what it's about. Find something. You saw how excited I got. So that should tell you, you know, I was in a really dark spot and all of this happened and all of these things happened all at once within this 10-day period that I'm telling you. Literally last week I was feeling defeated. Now you heard how happy I was. I mean, just find something. Put yourself around what can make you happy. Find if you're into music, write music or play instruments, sing. You don't have to post anything. You don't need to do, but find ways to make yourself happy, you know? So even if you're singing and you're having fun or you love to dance because it's a great way to let go. I mean, journal is a great thing that you can do as well. I mean, there are so many things that we can find creative ways to just make things happen. So I love you guys. I really hope from the bottom of my heart that this helps encourage you guys, that no matter what you're going through, if you find yourself in a place that's really dark, that's really heavy, or even if you know somebody, you know, try to help them, reach out to them, help them in a way so that they can get out of that dark place. You know, and if you guys have any prayer requests, please feel free to email me. You know, and so that way we can help each other because we need to do this. We need to keep fighting. Don't give up. You are amazing. You are one of a kind, and you will overcome this. I promise. We got this, guys. God bless you. I love you guys. Till the next episode. And I am recovering, so I will be making more episodes again, and we will get back to it. So God bless you guys. I love you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for visiting me, and thank you for joining Tea Time with Tati.